And the interesting part for this what if is, will certain human characters return from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla? Because I did not notice this when I was watching Tokyo SOS, but I looked up the main character, Kane, right? I I hope I got that name right. She was like the first person who piloted Kiru in like Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Which, when I say her name, it almost sounds like a Kame, just without, I think just without the M. Um, Akane, Akame. Yeah, they kind of sound very similar. But yeah, I didn't notice this when I was watching Tokyo SOS, but Akane didn't return. And I thought that one girl, that the mechanic guy, or the guy who repaired Kiru, I thought the girl that he was talking to was Akane, but it wasn't. When I looked it up, it said that she had no reason to be part of the sequel, which I found that kind of odd. But yeah, would Akane return for the sequel films if Kirigoji, like if they started the Millennium era Godzilla with Kirigoji? I would say possibly, yeah, because the reason why I say that is because, honestly, out of all the Millennium era characters, she was honestly the number one character that was least annoying, and honestly kind of likable, because I actually kind of understand like where she's coming from. She has no attachment to anyone. She has no real friends or family, and she was just kind of alone and all that stuff. But yeah, it would be really interesting to see the Kira Saga films being like the first start of the Millennium era of Godzilla movies. And maybe we could see like old classic kaiju, like say Ingurius, Rodan. I would say Mothra, but she already appeared in the Tokyo SOS film. Possibly King Ghidorah, and possibly many other classic Toho kaiju. So yeah, I think it could be really interesting to see like all the classic Toho kaiju returning. Like like all of the classic Toho kaiju, not just a few of the most popular ones. I would say like all of the classic Toho kaiju, like Hedorah, Gigan, Megalon, etc. All of them. Now, it could be even more interesting when Godzilla's Final Wars happens. Now let me explain. So we know that basically in that movie, Final Wars hated mankind because apparently in that movie he is the 1954 Godzilla. And instead of being killed by the Oxygen Destroyer, he survived and continued to attacking mankind for nearly 50 years. And at the end of that movie, he chose to forgive mankind. When Manila did this whole thing about, like, kind of stopping Godzilla, and convincing him to leave humans alone. But what would have happened if Final Wars Goji wasn't in that movie, but instead Kira Goji took his place? What could happen? Well, we do know that Kira Goji, like I said before in the previous video, he was basically attacking mankind because, well, they were using the 1954 Godzilla's skeleton, and he only stopped when they didn't use him anymore. Like, he didn't, pursue them any longer, and he just went off on his own, and just, mind his own business. Now, let's say that Godzilla Final Wars does happen, but with Kira Goji as, the main Godzilla. I say it could be very interesting, because not only does Kira Goji is now a lot more bigger, but he's a lot more powerful, more stronger. But this is where the twist happens. Let's say instead of just getting the Gotengo, the military had finally decided to find the remains of mechagodzilla and try to use him once again. Obviously, there will be some people that will be against the idea because, well, that was the only reason why Godzilla was attacking them in the first place. They took the remains of the first Godzilla, and as a result, that pissed off the current Godzilla. That got him triggered. And now, he started attacking them because they took the skeleton of the 1954 Godzilla. They took his father. And he was not okay with it. But at this point, they got no other choice. They had to find the remains of mechagodzilla, or Kiru, repair it, and of course get it ready for battle. Now, this would get Godzilla's attention again, and he will be once again triggered at humanity. And he would once again go right after them. And let's say that after the movie ends, let's just say that the whole movie just basically turns out very similar to Godzilla Final Wars, but with Kira Goji there instead. And let's say that Manila does still exist in this universe. And he does the same thing what Manila did in the Final Wars movie, but Kira Goji is still not having it. He's roaring in anger, trying to tell Manila to get out of his way. But then, let's say, the ghost of the 1954 Godzilla shows up. He roars at his son and tells him to stop, and that it's okay. Hey, the humans are not hurting me. They're not doing anything bad. they need me to protect them. You don't have to like what they're doing, but you have to understand why they're doing it. And I would say that Kirigoji will reluctantly understand and just decide to leave the humans alone and take Vanilla with him as his adopted son and the adopted grandson of the 1954 Godzilla. But yeah, I say the Kirisaga films, if they started the Millennium Godzilla movies and they continued on from there, I say it could be a very interesting series, honestly. It would be a very interesting scenario to think about if the Millennium era of Godzilla movies continued let's say they started with the Kirigoji movies. If they started with those movies, then I say it could be very interesting to think about. But that's just my theory. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think would happen if the Kirigoji movies or the Kirisaga started the Millennium era of Godzilla movies? What do you think could happen, and what kind of kaijus would you like to see appearing in the Kirisaga movies? Do you think Godzilla could possibly be a protector to mankind now? And do you think they could ever use Kiryu again? Or will they just not use him at all? Because they know what would happen if they do use him. And do you think the other Millennium movies could possibly still happen, but in very different ways? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.